What if I told you that one simple mistake is making every single run harder than it needs to be, stealing your speed and wasting massive amounts of your energy? What if fixing this one error could instantly make you faster without any additional training, without running more miles, without suffering through brutal workouts? You're about to discover the single most common running mistake that almost every recreational runner makes, and the shocking part is, you probably have no idea you're doing it. The correction takes less than 60 seconds to learn and will transform how running feels in your body forever. But before I reveal this game-changing secret that could unlock speed you didn't know you had, I need you to do something right now. Smash that subscribe button and hit the like button, because what you're about to learn is information that most runners go their entire lives without discovering. Drop a comment below and tell me, does running feel harder than it should? Do you feel like you're working way too hard for the speed you're getting? I want to know, because this mistake might be exactly what's holding you back. Welcome to a journey into the single most impactful running correction you can make. A change so simple, yet so powerful, that it will make you question why nobody ever told you this before. Prepare to discover what this critical mistake is, why it's sabotaging your running efficiency and speed, and exactly how to fix it with a technique adjustment you can implement on your very next run. This isn't some minor tweak that might help a little bit. This is a fundamental error that, when corrected, creates immediate dramatic improvement in how fast you can run with how little effort. Over the next several minutes, you're going to learn the biomechanics behind this mistake, the simple correction that elite runners use naturally, and the specific drills that will help you reprogram your body to run correctly. Before we dive deep, I need to know where you're watching from. Comment right now with your city or country. I absolutely love connecting with runners from all around the world right here. And if you haven't already subscribed, click that button and turn on notifications so you never miss content that could be the breakthrough moment in your running journey. Let's reveal this critical mistake and how to fix it. The mistake that's killing your speed and efficiency is this. You're pushing off the ground behind you instead of letting your body fall forward. Let me explain what this means, because this is going to blow your mind. Most runners think that running faster means pushing harder with each stride. They think the power comes from actively pushing the ground away behind them with their feet and calves. So they focus on that push-off. They try to drive hard off the ground with each step, using their calves and quads to propel themselves forward. This seems logical, right? If you want to go faster, push harder. But here's the problem. This creates massive muscular effort for relatively little forward propulsion. You're working your calves, quads, and hip flexors incredibly hard, burning tons of energy, and you're not getting the speed return you should for that effort investment. It's inefficient, it's exhausting, and it's not how elite runners actually run. Elite runners don't push themselves forward, they fall forward and catch themselves. This sounds crazy, but stay with me, because this is the key to everything. When you run efficiently, your body maintains a forward lean from the ankles. Your entire body, from your ankles to your head, forms a straight line that's tilted forward several degrees. This creates a state of controlled falling. Gravity is pulling you forward and down. Each stride is simply catching that fall and repositioning your body to fall forward again. You're harnessing gravity as your propulsion system instead of relying entirely on muscular force. This is exponentially more efficient because gravity is free. It doesn't cost you any energy. It's always there, always pulling. When you learn to work with gravity instead of fighting against it, running becomes easier and faster simultaneously. You're using less muscular effort because gravity is doing a significant portion of the work. This is the secret that separates effortless-looking elite runners from struggling recreational runners. Here's what's actually happening biomechanically when you run with proper, forward lean and gravity-assisted propulsion. Your body is ahead of your point of ground contact. When your foot touches down, it's slightly behind your center of mass. This means you're already moving forward over that planted foot. There's no braking force. You're not reaching out in front of your body and stopping yourself with each step. Instead, you're falling forward, your foot catches you underneath your body, and immediately you're continuing the forward fall. The role of your leg, muscles shifts. Instead of actively pushing you forward, they're primarily stabilizing and redirecting your fall. Your glutes and hamstrings are still firing, but they're working to maintain your forward lean and control your landing. not to shove you forward with brute force. This is a completely different use of your muscles, and it's far more efficient. You're spending less energy on each stride, which means you can sustain faster paces for longer periods without accumulating fatigue. Now, contrast this with the pushing mentality that most runners have. When you're focused on pushing off hard behind you, several bad things happen. First, you tend to lean backward or stand too upright. You can't effectively push backward if you're leaning forward, so your body intuitively straightens up or even leans slightly back. This means you're working against gravity instead of with it. You're essentially trying to run uphill on flat ground. Second, you create a longer ground contact time. You're pushing and pushing, trying to squeeze every bit of propulsion out of each step. But the longer your foot stays on the ground, the more time you're spending not moving forward. Elite runners have incredibly short ground contact times, often under 200 milliseconds. They're barely touching the ground before they're airborne again. Third, you rely too heavily on your calves and quads, which are not your most powerful or fatigue-resistant muscles. Your glutes and hamstrings, your posterior chain, are much stronger and more capable of sustained work. But when you're pushing backward, you're quad and calf dominant. This leads to early fatigue and that burning sensation in your quads and calves that makes you slow down. Think about this for a second. When you're running and you start to get tired, where do you feel it first? For most runners, it's the quads and calves. They start burning. They feel heavy and exhausted. That's because you're overusing them by pushing instead of falling. Comment below right now and tell me, where do you feel fatigue first when you run? Quads, calves, or do you feel it more in your glutes and hamstrings? This will tell you whether you're a pusher or a faller. I want to know what you're experiencing because it directly relates to this mistake we're discussing. So how do you fix this? How do you transition from pushing to falling? It starts with establishing the proper forward lean. Stand up right now if you're able. Stand with your feet, hip width apart. Maintain a straight line from your ankles through your knees, hips, shoulders, and head. Everything is stacked and aligned. Now, keeping that straight body line, lean forward from your ankles, not from your waist. Your whole body tilts forward as one rigid unit, just a few degrees, maybe 3 to 5 degrees of lean. Feel how you're starting to fall forward? Feel how you'd need to step forward to catch yourself? That sensation of controlled falling is what we want to capture. When you run, this forward lean is not optional, it's essential. Without it, you cannot run with gravity assistance. With it, everything changes. Here's a drill that will help you feel this forward fall viscerally. Find a wall. Stand facing away from it, about arm's length away. Lean backward slowly until your back touches the wall. You're now leaning against the wall. Push off the wall gently and let yourself fall forward. As you start to fall, step forward to catch yourself. Do this several times. Fall forward from the wall. Catch yourself with a step. Fall, catch, fall, catch. Feel that sensation? That's what we want, but sustained continuously while running. You're always falling, you're always catching. The forward momentum is created by the fall, not by the push. Now try it without the wall. Stand in your normal running posture, establish that forward lean from the ankles, and start to fall forward. As you fall, begin running to catch yourself. Don't think about pushing off. Think about catching your fall. Let gravity pull you forward. Your legs are just cycling underneath you to keep you from face planting. This shift in mental framework from pushing to falling is profound. It changes everything about how you approach running. When you're trying to push yourself forward, running feels like work. You're actively doing something. You're exerting force. It's tiring. When you're falling forward and catching yourself, running feels more passive. Gravity is doing the work. You're just managing the fall. It's less tiring. It feels easier. And paradoxically, you're actually moving faster because you're more efficient. Elite runners describe the sensation of running well as feeling like they're barely working. They feel light. They feel like they're floating or gliding. This isn't because they're genetically superior. It's because they've mastered the art of falling forward. They've harnessed gravity. You can develop this same sensation. It just requires rewiring your understanding of what running actually is. Let me give you a specific workout that will help you internalize this concept. After warming up, find a gentle downhill section, maybe 100 to 150 meters long. Not a steep hill, just a slight decline. Run down this hill at a moderate pace, but here's the key. Don't try to control your speed by holding back. Don't brake. Instead, maintain your forward lean and let gravity accelerate you. Your legs should be cycling quickly to keep up with your forward fall. You're not pushing, you're catching. Run down the hill, feeling that sensation of gravity-assisted speed. Then walk back up and repeat 4 to 6 times. What you're doing here is teaching your body what it feels like to run with gravity instead of against it. The downhill exaggerates the forward lean and makes the falling sensation obvious. Once your body understands this feeling on the downhill, you can start to replicate it on flat ground. The forward lean might be less pronounced on the flat, but the principle is the same. You're always falling forward. Gravity is always assisting. Now let's talk about what happens to your stride mechanics when you shift from pushing to falling. Your cadence naturally increases. When you're falling forward, you need to cycle your legs faster to keep catching yourself. You can't take slow, leisurely strides when you're falling. This increased cadence, typically 170 to 180 steps per minute for most runners, is a hallmark of efficient running. Your ground contact time decreases. You're not spending time pushing off anymore. You're just touching down and immediately lifting off again to reposition for the next catch. Short ground contact time is another marker of efficient running. Your stride becomes more circular and less linear. Instead of reaching forward and pushing backward in a straight line, your feet are cycling in more of a circular pattern underneath your body. Think of a wheel rolling. That's closer to what your leg motion looks like when you're running efficiently. Your body position becomes more consistent. When you're pushing, you tend to bob up and down a lot. You're pushing yourself upward as well as forward. When you're falling, your vertical motion minimizes. You're moving horizontally, not vertically. This is more efficient because all your energy is going into forward motion, not wasted on bouncing. What are you thinking right now? Is this making sense? Can you picture the difference between pushing yourself forward versus falling forward and catching yourself? Drop a comment and let me know if this concept is clicking for you or if you need more clarification. I want to make sure this is landing because it's such a critical concept that will change your running forever. Here's another way to think about this that might help. Imagine you're on a moving walkway at an airport. The walkway is moving forward, carrying you along. You don't need to push hard to move forward. You just need to walk normally, and the walkway adds speed. Gravity, when you lean forward, is like that moving walkway. It's carrying you forward. You just need to keep your legs moving to stay upright and control the speed. You're not generating all the forward motion yourself. Gravity is giving you a boost. Now imagine trying to push yourself forward while standing still on solid ground. You have to generate all the force yourself. That's exhausting. That's what you're doing when you run without the forward lean. You're making running way harder than it needs to be because you're not using the free assist that gravity offers. Let me share some cues that will help you maintain this forward lean and falling sensation during your runs. First, think about running tall. Imagine a string attached to the top of your head, pulling you upward. This elongates your spine and sets up proper alignment. Second, think about your hips leading. Your hips should be the frontmost part of your body. They're ahead of your feet. They're ahead of your shoulders. Your hips lead and everything else follows. Third, think about running over your feet, not into them. You're not reaching forward with your feet. Your feet are coming back to meet the ground underneath your body as your hips move forward over them. Fourth, think light and quick. Your feet should barely kiss the ground. You're not pounding or pushing. You're lightly touching and lifting. These cues help your brain and body organize around the efficient falling forward pattern instead of the inefficient pushing backward pattern. Now I need to address a common concern. Some runners hear this falling forward concept and they think it means leaning way forward from the waist. This is not what we want. Leaning from the waist compresses your torso, restricts your breathing, and actually doesn't create the gravity assist effect we're looking for. The lean must come from the ankles. Your body is a straight, rigid line that's tilted forward as one unit. If you bend at the waist, you break that line. You're no longer falling forward efficiently. You're just hunched over, which creates its own set of problems. So please, when I say forward lean, I mean a subtle tilt of your entire body from the ankles, not a dramatic bend at the waist. Film yourself from the side if possible. Check your lean. Are you maintaining that straight line? Is the lean coming from your ankles? This visual feedback is incredibly valuable for making sure you're doing this correctly. Let's talk about what changes immediately when you fix this mistake. The very first thing you'll notice is that running feels easier at the same pace. You're covering the same ground, but with less perceived effort. You're not working as hard, but you're going the same speed. This is efficiency. Second, you'll notice your breathing feels easier because you're upright with a proper forward lean instead of hunched or leaning backward. Your chest is open. Your lungs can expand fully. Oxygen flows more easily. Third, you'll notice your leg muscles feel different. Your quads and calves aren't burning as much. Your glutes and hamstrings are engaging more. The workload is distributing to stronger, more appropriate muscles. Fourth, you'll notice you can sustain faster paces for longer. Because you're more efficient, you're accumulating less fatigue. What used to tire you out in 3 miles might not hit until mile 5 or 6. And fifth, you'll probably run faster without even trying. When you remove the braking forces and add gravity assistance, speed increases naturally. I want to share a real-world example. I had a runner come to me struggling to break 25 minutes in a 5K. He was training hard, running 5 days a week, doing speed work. But he was stuck. I watched him run and immediately saw the problem. He was standing too upright, reaching forward with his feet and actively pushing off hard with every stride. His quads were doing all the work. He looked like he was working incredibly hard, and he was, but he wasn't getting the speed return for that effort. I taught him the forward lean concept. We did the wall drill. We did the downhill repeats. We worked on the falling sensation. Within 2 weeks, his entire running changed. He dropped his 5K time to 23:30 without increasing his training volume or intensity. He was running the same workouts, just with better mechanics. That's a 90-second improvement from a simple technique change. That's the power of fixing this mistake. That could be you. That improvement is available to you right now if you implement this correction. Now think about your own running goals. Maybe you're trying to run your first sub-30-minute 5K. Maybe you're chasing a Boston qualifier in the marathon. Maybe you just want to run without feeling exhausted all the time. Whatever your goal, this correction will help you get there faster. It's not the only thing you need to do. You still need to train consistently. You still need to build your aerobic base and do appropriate workouts. But this correction removes a massive barrier that's been limiting you. It's like you've been driving with the parking brake on. You can still move forward, but it's way harder than it should be. Releasing that brake, learning to fall forward instead of push backward, is the unlock. Suddenly, everything gets easier. Suddenly, your training produces better results. Suddenly, goals that seemed out of reach become achievable. Comment below right now and tell me what your current running goal is. I want to know what you're chasing because this technique is going to help you get there. Here's your action plan to implement this starting today. First, practice the forward lean standing still. Get comfortable with that sensation of controlled falling. Second, do the wall drill I described. Fall forward from the wall and catch yourself. Repeat 10 times before your next run. Third, incorporate the downhill repeats into your training once a week. Let gravity teach your body what falling forward feels like. Fourth, use the mental cues during your runs. Hips lead. Run tall, light and quick. Over your feet, not into them. Fifth, film yourself from the side. Check your lean. Is it coming from your ankles? Is your body a straight line? Sixth, be patient. This is a significant change in your running mechanics. Your body needs time to adapt. Don't expect perfection on day one, but do expect to feel a difference. Even on your first run with this new awareness, you'll notice running feels different, easier, smoother. That's progress. That's the beginning of your transformation. One final point before we wrap up. This concept of falling forward, of working with gravity instead of muscular force alone, applies beyond just running. It's a principle of efficient movement in general. In cycling, you lean forward to reduce air resistance and work with body position. In swimming, you maintain a horizontal body position to reduce drag and work with the water. In any sport, in any movement, efficiency comes from working with the forces around you, not fighting against them. Running teaches you this principle in a pure, accessible way. Learn to fall forward when you run, and you're learning a broader lesson about how to move efficiently through the world. This makes you not just a better runner, but a more efficient mover in all aspects of life. The principles transfer, the awareness transfers. You become someone who understands how to work smarter, not just harder. That's a valuable skill far beyond the roads and trails. Here's what I need from you before you go. First, leave a comment telling me if this concept of falling forward instead of pushing backward is new to you. Or if you'd heard it before but never really understood it. I want to know where you're starting from. Second, if this video has given you a concrete technique to try that could unlock faster, easier running, smash that like button so more runners can discover this game-changing information. Third, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications because I'm constantly creating content that will make you a better, smarter, more efficient runner. And finally, I've got another video ready for you that breaks down the perfect running cadence and how to develop it without thinking. Click the video on your screen right now and continue this journey toward effortless, efficient running. You now know the mistake that's been making running harder than it needs to be. You now know the correction. The only question is, will you implement it? I believe you will. Now get out there, lean forward, let gravity be your friend, and run faster with less effort than you ever thought possible. I'll see you on the roads.